Greetings fellow adventurers, and welcome to the Citadel of Consoletronix. You can address me as Lord Cadbury's, as today I'm taking you all on a trip down Quality Street with this one, as I impart the forbidden lore of one of the most influential and long-lasting genres within the history of video gaming, with a look back at my favourite 16-bit RPGs, Part 1. So, in no particular order, thought I'd break you guys in easy with a look at what was for me the first console role-playing game that I played, and as baptisms go, it really was a case of sink or swim, but I've never shirked a challenge, and as the dust settled, it was me who stood victorious. A difficult and fiddly game that's been superseded by superior sequels, but one in which I still recommend to fans of the genre. Its positives outweigh its many negatives. Zelda 3 not only had to impress fickle gamers who were looking for those all-new, bigger and brighter 16-bit graphics and music on the recently released Super Nintendo, but faced some of the stiffest competition any video game had ever faced itself in the past. Link's third adventure not only rose to face these challenges, but still stands as one of the greatest role-playing games, not just on the SNES, but of all time. Capcom would take time away from knocking out incremental upgrades to Street Fighter II in arcades in '93 to turn their considerable talents to the RPG genre, which was having an Indian summer on 16-bit platforms, particularly on the SNES. By no means a standout title, but a worthy addition to anyone's collection. By now you should all know that US role-playing audiences were treated to the 6th installment of Square's signature RPG series under the title of Final Fantasy III. Now, for those of you who played Part 7 first and consider it one of your favourite games of all time, Final Fantasy VI is, and I say this without any fear of contradiction, one of the best titles within this illustrious franchise. The Mega Drive may not have held a candle to the SNES when it came to its RPG library, but if it's quality and not quantity that appeals to you, it would play host to some outstanding entries in a competitive marketplace, like the Shining series, and arguably one of the contenders for title of greatest 16-bit RPG of all time, Phantasy Star 4, and I challenge anyone watching this to prove me wrong. This title has been underrated and overlooked for far too long. Being a hardcore gamer in the UK during the height of the 16-bit era wasn't always easy, with sometimes years passing between games being released in Japan or the States before finally gracing the PAL territories with their presence. Terranigma was one of the very few instances I can think of when one of the top-selling games in Japan from premier RPG specialists Enix saw official UK release, but never saw light of day stateside. True Terranigma would struggle to crack anyone's top 10 SNES RPG list, but it's a time-hopping action RPG that I have always held in high regard. Now, full disclosure, I've not yet played the revamp of this that came out on the PS4 and Vita, although I have been keeping my ear to the ground, listening intently to the voiced discontent that's been bubbling up on YouTube. Let me just say this, if you missed this game first time around and you're wondering if it still holds up in 2018, the SNES version is without question one of the greatest games you will ever experience. I won't be offended if you have never heard of this one, as it slipped past me as well. I only came to know of its existence by playing its sequel on the Saturn, but if like me you like surprises and discovering those hidden gems from yesteryear, then this is one to put at the top of your list. Few video games can live up to the hype now or way back then, but this is one of the very few exceptions. A deceptively addictive game that will consume your waking moments while you play and will live long in your memory after you finish it. A brilliant game. The difficulty in making a video like this is I have so much to say and so much I want to tell you about lots of these games, but have to try my best to keep it short and sweet. So let me just sum up this Square RPG from 1995, developed by the creator of Final Fantasy, Hironobu Sakaguchi, and two of the men responsible for the success of Dragon Quest, Yuji Horii and Akira Toriyama, in 3 words. I love it. Surprised? Well, if you know your RPG history, you shouldn't be. This is one of those titles that really has no right to be as good as it is. A truly spectacular game that, confusingly, was simply released as Lufia here in Europe, meaning many who loved it imported the same game from the States, mistaking it for a follow-up. It may be lacking in the looks department, but beauty is only skin deep. The puzzles you will face in your quest will drive you mad at times, but you will keep coming back to this truly great game. So there we have it, folks. Now, let me just see who's been paying attention, because if you're wondering why no Dragon Quest featured, they will headline my favourite RPGs Part 2, the focus of which will be on fan-translated RPGs that never saw official release outside Japan. So if I see comments saying, "Where's Dragon Quest 6?" we will all know you didn't watch to the end, you naughty boy. But if you're still here, let me say thank you for watching, and Part 2 will be with you soon. So my name's Gray, this is Consoletronix, lots more videos coming up, so stay tuned, and please share, subscribe, and let me know some of your thoughts on both this video and what RPGs you've been playing. Until the next time, I'm out. Laters.